test to detect coronavirus and flu that can give results in 90 minutes is to be rolled out in the UK, with some care homes having it available from next week.
This is a game changer because the ability to do a test by just over an hour, as Krista Marzu put it, or 90 minutes, will make a massive difference to our response to coronavirus.
Well, you can contact us on any of today's stories. Twitter is @BBC Carry or hashtag BBC Your Questions. Also this hour. Eat Out to Help Out diners across the UK can enjoy a discount of up to 50% off their bills from this morning in a bid to boost the struggling hospitality sector. Europe's biggest bank, HSBC, says its half-yearly profits plunge by 2/3 as it battles the coronavirus downturn. Institutional racism may have contributed to the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on ethnic minorities in Wales, according to a top judge. Nearly 2 years on from the collapse of Genoa's Morandi Bridge, killing 43 people, the Italian city prepares to inaugurate its replacement.
Splashdown.
As you can see, a new chapter in the space race. 2 American astronauts safely splashed down as the first commercially crewed mission to the International Space Station returns to Earth. New 90-minute tests that can detect coronavirus and flu will be rolled out from next week. Currently, most test results are returned within 24 hours, but some can take up to 2 days.
If you used your sanity test from day one,
On-the-spot tests will be made available to you.
you'll know that it doesn't exist.
NHS laboratories from next week, with millions more due to be rolled out.
And all that takes is brain cells.
Authorities in Greater Manchester insist that people should not be alarmed by a decision to declare a major incident last night in response to the rising rates of coronavirus there. In Scotland, the clinical director
Only place
has warned of going backwards over
these COVID cases are rising is through your TV.
to an Aberdeen pub. Local lockdown
You see nothing
today in less
out on the
pubs
streets.
and restaurants can be
Nothing.
The government's Eat Out to Help Out dining scheme for the UK, which offers up to a 50% discount on food bills, also begins today. On the question of testing, the Department of Health has announced that 5,000 DNA test machines, which analyse nose swabs for the virus, will be rolled out across NHS hospitals from September, with the Health Secretary Matt Hancock saying the latest testing innovations...
Matt fucking Hancock, what an evil piece of fucking shit he is.
As our correspondent Charlotte Gallagher...
The guy who makes decisions with a heavy heart.
In the fight against coronavirus and stopping...
Reason being he's got no fucking heart.
Testing is vital. But during the pandemic...
Swinging fucking brick.
...repeatedly challenged about its capacity to do so, and was sometimes unable to say precisely how many people had been tested. Just yesterday, officials admitted there was a limited number of test kits for care homes, meaning the July target to routinely check all asymptomatic staff and residents has been pushed back to September. Now the Department of Health has announced a deal with 2 companies based in Oxford and London to roll out kits that will provide results in 90 minutes. Almost 500,000 tests will be available from next week across adult care settings.
If it doesn't exist, why do you need the test?
Expected to receive them from September. Millions more
So
tests
bollocks,
are
innit?
set to be rolled out later in the year.
Because I don't think it exists.
DNA machines, which
Seen no evidence.
swabs, will provide 5.8
5 months worth of evidence.
The test is
Zero.
similar to the test we've had already. It's detecting the virus's nucleic acid. But whereas in the past, tests have had to be done by a swab, that has to be sent to a laboratory, what we now have is a test which can be done in the place where the sample is being taken.
The test, which will go to pop-up
What
labs,
the
will also
fuck?
be able to detect
See it all there?
winter illnesses
It's all for
such as
show.
flu. There's hopes that
All for show.
testing could flag localized outbreaks.
Keep the distancing alive through the TV.
Regional lockdowns have to be put in
Make
place.
everyone believe.
Concern concerns about an increase in cases in the winter and the strain that would place on the NHS, there'll be calls for even more testing across the UK. Charlotte Gallagher, BBC News.
Fears more God out of you, this does, than going on world's biggest roller coaster.
The other in London, Professor Chris Maz, who joins us now, founder of the Institute of Biomedical Engineering.
In fact, this fucking COVID is one big fucking roller coaster.
DNA Nudge, who developed one of the 90 minutes tests and will be supplying 5.8 million of them over the coming months. Congratulations on your test. Are you relieved to have this out and active now?
Congratulations.
Absolutely, yes. So we've been working for what now 3.5, nearly.
Congratulations. Your bank balance is just getting up tenfold.
Test to run it in a number of key hospitals in London, and now we're proud to say we have a device this small that is effectively an entire laboratory in this cartridge.
And where's this just suddenly appeared from out of nowhere?
Test to the patient at the point of need, rather than sending swabs off to a laboratory, having to wait several hours for so-called PCR results and then relaying those results to the patient. Now, this is at the point of need, which is really important.
New 90-minute test just arrived.
You've got it in your hand. Can you explain?
Just come from nowhere, hasn't it?
Yeah, sure. So effectively, it's a bit larger than a printer card.
They fucking had this shit fucking all set up. Everything has already been pre-fucking made, pre-designed.
Minimally invasive. Or now we're testing the saliva.
Found it a miracle how everything was just there, ready and waiting.
Just a couple of
all the stickers, all the self-distancing 2-metre fucking logos just appeared overnight.
You then close the bung, you pull out the swab, you close it, and then the virus is contained. And just by simple movement of a little motor, which I'll show you in a moment, it goes into a little box where there's a little motor. The first step is to actually deactivate the virus. If there is virus, it gets deactivated, which effectively means it effectively then extract from the RNA of the virus purified DNA. And it's that purified DNA that we're really interested in, because that DNA will then get spread over these little holes which we call wells. And these wells have got a number of different COVID gene detectors. It's the chemistry, almost like the fish bait that's looking for the fish to bite it. So we've got the bait of all the various genes in COVID-19. N genes, E genes, CDC genes, WHO genes. So effectively, if you
shame it can't pick up fucking bullshit genes.
So when the fish is
seems to have picked up everything else.
Bite on the particular bait that it identifies, and if it bites on any one of those genes, it means you've got COVID-19. Now, obviously, the fish are quite small. DNA molecules are very, very small, so you need to amplify the fish. And that process is known as PCR, polymerase chain reaction. Effectively, you heat the double helix, which then separates the two strands. You then add some synthetic DNA by cooling. You then heat and cool and heat and cool and heat and cool. And each time you heat and cool, you're amplifying the amount of DNA. That makes the fish bigger to bite the effective bait. And that's all done in this device, not much bigger than a shoebox, effectively, called the nudge box. So once you've taken the sample goes into the nudge box.
About right, isn't it, really?
It closes.
You're the guinea pig, you're taking the bait.
Those heating and cooling episodes takes about...
The whole fucking country's taking the bait. The whole country's biting the bait. Is he taking the piss?
Once the DNA is amplified, then it gets sent to the hospital information system or goes directly via a phone or an iPad to the patient. So that is done in situ, see. It's not done in a laboratory, and that's the key. It's all down to miniaturization and utility.
Well, thank you for that demonstration. That was impressive. Now, how did you actually come up with it? And is anyone else? I mean, we know there's another test out there coming out today as well in the UK. But does this compare to anything else internationally?
Well, I think we're slightly ahead. It's serendipity, actually, because this was repurposed. It was actually designed for genetic testing for things like risk for obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol. You know, these are all obesity type, medical condition type related diseases.